what happens when a community comes together to really think hard and dream together about how to make the world better for their kids.
To really give people license to imagine what, in their wildest dreams, what the most phenomenal building could be like.
We start this process with a real conversation around suspending certainty. This district was really about authentically listening to students in their language. So we had a fourth grader that was talking about sort of what school meant to him, and he said, I want to be the captain of my own learning. And that became the foundational idea, I would say, of Trillium Creek.
There was a diorama that was all around a gymnasium, which was a sheet to write on, and it was filled with thousands of ideas that people wrote throughout the day. In working with kids in this process, they told us that the really only part of the building that they thought that they owned were lavatories and their locker. We wanted children to feel like this was a place that was for them, that they were engaged in it, that it belonged to them, that they had a part in making it, and that they owned the daily operations too.
It was actually a community of people coming together. I remember in the parking lot at the ad building actually having the classrooms or neighborhood spaces taped out.
When we were in the design process and said to ourselves, look, we're not going to have classrooms that are rectangles. And so by simply making the rooms the L shapes that they are, this room is going to ask you to think about your teaching and learning differently.
It was a process, like I said, that took over a year, really 10 months or so before we started drawing, that really was about listening sessions where we would get together with 200 to 300 community members or a group of 30 kids and really work with them intently on getting their ideas about what they wanted their learning places to be.
And they had the greatest ideas, zip lines and chocolate rivers and ways of organizing space. It was a blast.
What we wanted to do was create very colorful areas of the building that students could identify from everywhere around the site, really being careful about how we oriented those Orioles to capture the views of the forest as best we could.
My favorite part of the school is the Oriole, because it feels like you're in a tree house.
It sits in this 20-some acres of wooded land and has a stream running through it. It's beautiful. We did not want to destroy that. We wanted to preserve the nature, that the nature should literally come inside the building.
When we opened on opening day here, the community felt like this had been here for a decade. And parents and kids just embraced it, and it was like they had just come home.
The school itself is one big classroom. I can take my students out and take a walk and talk about literature. When we do art lessons, we can go outside under the trees. It doesn't have to just be in the classroom.
There are lots of examples throughout the building that sort of give students the tools and initial pieces of information about their place, both the building itself and then the surrounding schoolyard. The consumption of natural gas in the building, electricity, water, and then the production of electricity through the PV array and also the wind turbine.
When you look at this library today, it is a multi-dimensional library. It says learning is important, learning is active, and we can see each other doing it. And it's a fun place to do it.
When you talk to kids about the fact that the slide was a kid's idea, they look at you like, really? And he said, yeah, your voice matters.
Good educational architecture will get out of the way and not provide obstacles for educators and students to thrive. Astounding educational architecture will actually enhance that and provide opportunities for educators and students to use the building and the site around them to actually contribute to their learning.
And when children walk in here, when parents walk in here, when visitors walk in here, it speaks volumes about how we care about learning. It says welcome. It says this is a fun place, this is a busy place, it's a place designed for learning. I love this whole building. It's a phenomenal place.